back in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues.
Good afternoon, good evening, happy Sunday, everybody. I'm Brick Something, and I'm joined today by my good friend MJR, aka Mega J Retro. You may have heard of him. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, Brick? Good to see you, brother.
I know. So Jay is on the East Coast, and so shout out to all the East Coast of the Americas, North America in particular, folks, and in the center who are dealing with some crazy weather right now, among other things. So I hear it's really cold there, and is that right?
Oh my gosh, it's too funny because obviously Brick is in a more temperate climate. Like we're buried right now. I believe it's by the end of this 24 hours of snow, it's going to be around 28 centimeters, almost 30 centimeters.
Damn.
So, yeah,
temperature wise, what are you dealing with outside if you walked outside right now?
All right, so it is here minus 20 degrees centigrade. So I think that we're closer to. Man, what would that be for you? That would be like zero minus minus 5. What would that be for you? Like
that would be about 72 degrees cooler than I'm in right now.
Oh my! Yeah, no kidding. No freaking kidding. Like
no, so, I was teasing. I'm sitting here with my jacket on because I'm cold. And I run colder in my old age, but yeah, no, I know what you all are dealing with, and I hope everything's safe.
That was early. That was early.
Oh,
okay,
man.
So that was
What's all that white stuff?
And
what is that?
What is that? Right? You know what is that machine that we have to use to get a freaking?
Jay, don't you guys like dust? I mean, that's a lot of dust.
That's
man.
a cheese. That's a cheese wedge. That's a wedge of cheese. Where my car is parked. You see how it's
that's amazing. No,
it's not amazing. That is the opposite of amazing. That is
it sucks. No, I know it's just a lot to deal with, and for real, I hope everybody's safe. I know, I've got family in Texas who are a little bit worried about everything. So hope everybody's safe. I also know that there's craziness. I do got to say, it's been a wild weekend. My brain has definitely been rooted here in the earth. And the madness we're dealing with, particularly here in the U.S., from my perspective. But I will say part of what we do here is try to find some joy. And so if we can escape to some different worlds, even for like an hour and a half, let's do it. Right, Jay?
Absolutely. And there's some great escape. There's great worlds to escape in. And this week has been one big escape for a lot of different fans in multiple ways. But it's been pretty crazy. I mean, talk about pop culture. The amount of movie drops, the movie trailer drops that this week are just out of this world. Like lots of great drops, lots of great announcements.
Yep.
And of course, for the toy world, so many great things happening right now. Good and bad, but mostly in a lot of ways, just mostly good. So yeah, we got to bring some levity into this
for
world.
Sure.
It's our responsibility, right?
Yes.
As Filipinos, man, it's our responsibility to bring in some.
Yeah, and it's not even, yes, absolutely. So let's enjoy ourselves. But let's enjoy ourselves, particularly to talk about one of those fandoms in that universe of Masters of the Universe, if you will, because I know you love it, I love it, and I think this is a particularly exciting time to be a He-Man, She-Ra, Masters of the Universe fan, and you've known that because you have helped lead the charge, you and Mike, Attorney and Royalty, and you've been on here before talking about it, but you've been leading the charge saying, hey, 2026 should be a big year for MOTU. We know this, and we're going to help bring people together. So I want to hear about that today, as well as this awesome movie stuff. And maybe we'll veer off and look at some of the other things that I think is MOTU adjacent, if I could say.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the topic today, is very fantasy rooted. I think we have a lot of fantasy topics because you cannot talk about Master Universe without thinking about Frank Frazetta, who really inspired many of the. I mean, so Rudy Obrero, I think, another wonderful artist, right? He took a lot of inspiration from some of the fantasy art that was on around at the time, right?
Yes, he did.
And he might have taken some inspiration from a certain Frazetta, you know what I mean? But I mean, like, it was
He's not the only one.
it was so popular at the time. It really was. And that type of Boris was the same thing. You know what I mean? Boris, Frank Frazetta, all these guys, right?
Viejo.
Incredible artists at the time, right?
Hey, real quick, Rudy Obrero, I have a question. Was that guy Filipino?
I believe he. I think yes, he might have been. You never know. I mean, Alfredo Acala. All these MOTU guys, man. Mattel was digging deep. Looking for talent where it needed to be, and you know what? The right talent showed up, man. And
that's right.
I'm really proud of that. As part of it, right? So. Really cool stuff happening in Master Universe.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we'll definitely do that. Let's say hello to the folks who are joining us and joining us from across 3 different channels, Mega J's channels, his 2 channels, and this one. So welcome to everybody, and thank you for joining us today. First and foremost, Recon Rage. What's up, Blake?
What's going on,
who I'm going to be hanging out with in a couple of weeks. He's my Valentine's Day date.
Woo!
Mark it down.
That your wife must be proud of that.
February 15th. My wife's like, "What's Valentine's Day?" I love my wife. We're made for each other, man.
So I think you're safe.
Well, weekend or I don't know, whatever. Like I said, I don't know. I don't recognize that day. What's up, JMac77? Good to see you. Hello. Thank you for joining us today, Jordan from Canada.
Yes, sir.
Canada. What's going on, man? 2 powerhouses, 2 Pinoy powerhouses. Sure. Man, what's up, Travis, the Mr. Wonderful? What's going on? Good to see you.
Always good to see Travis in the house.
Yep, from the Toilet Takeover. I believe they'll be on tonight. They're on a little bit later. Let's see. We got Rick Jones. What's going up? Rick Jones, I know, is also very cold down in San Jose, California. What's up, Rick Jones? Erwin Papa, man.
Yeah.
The Pinoys are all up in this. What's up, Erwin? Good to see you, man.
Good to see Erwin, man.
Mr.
Talented. Incredibly talented too, by the way. Erwin Papa, guys, you got to check out Erwin's work. The guy's
amazing. Mr. Ryan Clark is here, another fellow Canadian of yours. Larry's Geeky World, good to see you. Frankie Rivera, hola, ¿qué pasó?
Good to see you, Frankie.
Once again, hola, ¿qué pasó? What's up, Collecting Brothers? John, maybe J period O period O S period H 2.0 maybe. Let's see. E. McNeil is here. Hello, E. Oops, I hear a little bit of an echo. Jay, just see me.
Maybe. Okay.
I'm allergic to the sound of my voice. Raceland Zero, good to see you, sir. Irish Johnny B, top of the morning to you. Sorry, I hope that wasn't offensive. That literally was like just meant to be warm. What's up, man? Greetings. He says greetings from Ireland. So good. It's 8 degrees Celsius here, man. Oh man, you guys.
That's cold. That is not warm either. That's pretty cold.
Hey, look at this guy. Fresh from the inner workings of Sprouts down in California. What's going on, man? Good to see you. I will say, Mega J, this guy, he just keeps going and going. I was watching him this morning on a stream with Attorney and Royalty, and then he was on a stream before this, and here he is now. And this guy basically lives on the internet. This is the good thing about the snow. It gives him something to do.
Well, I'm snowed in here, man. I got nothing. Yeah. I can't do nothing anyway. So I might as well join you people in the sun.
Kevin toying around was doing the same thing. He had a snow day live stream today. I love it.
That's right.
This guy, Danny Trujillo, what's going on, man? Greetings from Southern California, LA to be specific. What's up, man?
Not jealous at all.
LA born and raised off the 101, Queen of Angels. What's going on? Let's see. Warren Newman. Hello, sir. 5325. And let's see. We said hello to E again. Always good to see you. Sorry, these California folks. I love my California folks. Apologies to everyone. We're not gloating at all. We just ended up here. So don't worry. You can laugh at us in the next earthquake and drought. No joke, man. Fires. Darth Frank is here. 76. What's up? Norway in the house. When I see 76, I wonder if you, like me, are hitting 50 this year. I'm a 76er. You, me, Paul Morales, and a couple of other folks. So half 100, guys. Comic Fan Man wants us all to know, what's up, Comic Fan Man, that King Randor was in that trailer, Jay.
Yes, I know.
I'm teasing. Yes. I was watching this morning, Comic Fan Man, and it's not Comic Fan Man's fault. I think you were so inundated with the chat that it was a while before you got to the chat. It was, I think he was like, in case you didn't see it, and I'm teasing.
We saw it this morning. I mean, like, we're very well aware of it now.
Yo, Joe, what's up? Yo, Joe.
Hold on, Josie. Good to see you, bro.
Orange County, 168, maybe. Freaks Figures, what's going on, man? Good to see you.
Woo! Good old fresh.
It's fun. It's like I got to see some of these folks early in the morning on different streams. We were on New to Mythics in the chats. Spade and One McDysentery, what's going on, man?
Community we have here, guys. Wonderful.
Spade, I got to read Spade. He wants to everyone to know. First off, he does have a very dangerous disease in his name. In addition, he'd like everyone to know that there's a party in his mouth and everyone's invited. So if you're wondering why he's getting these old diseases, we all know what the deal is. Miguel Bayon, what's going on? 2024, the real Skeletor with an A. So he's like hip hop, yo, what's up? And I think Rodimus Power Toy Collector. Love that.
Rodimus, good to see you, brother.
All love to Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime. I think he was, he was the Star Wars prequels of his time.
I know, right?
All right, man. So let's talk about this week. Let's see. Let me go ahead and pretend that I'm professional. And I'm going to do this first. And then I'm going to go, boom. This beautiful image graced us this week. This is the Masters of the Universe trailer for anyone who has been either sleeping under a rock or just genuinely doesn't pay attention to movies or pop culture. But there is a Masters of the Universe live action film coming in 2026. And I've hung out with Mega J for a while and followed him for a while. And I remember watching him and when these were announced and him saying, you know what? I'll believe it when I see it. Jay, do you believe it?
One of my other quotes of note was, "This is never gonna happen." that was my, and you know what? Travis Knight said, "Oh yeah, Jay."
Yeah. So the Mattel folks were like, "All right, challenge accepted, Jay. Here we are.
I'll take you up on that, Jay."
But no, for real though, you're absolutely right, because we got a movie in '86.
Yep.
Which again, speaking of the prequels of his day, I kind of said that quickly, but when Transformers the movie came out and people when people were introduced to a whole new cast of robots, there was a chunk of people who were like, what is this? And then when they proceeded to, spoiler alert, kill off some of our beloved, G1 characters, people were like, what is this? What is this new stuff? What is this RC and Hot Rod? I'm sure there was the 80s version of woke. Why are we getting girl Transformers? I'm sure there was that. And then there was Masters of the Universe. Same thing, right? There was this like, hey, that's not my MOTU. Fast forward, there's a lot of us who love that 86 film and love the Transformers film. So like, we already know how these things work. So I get it, because for the longest time, we didn't get a whole lot of Masters of the Universe. We got some nice, beautiful blips along the way. Mike Young Productions being one of them. New Adventures before that, Mike Young Productions. Yep. MOTU Classics, and on and on. Then more recently, what I'd call the sort of beginning of this resurgence with Origins, right? And then Masterverse, and then CGI on Netflix, and Revelation and Revolution, comics. So like, we've been building up. But all those things that I mentioned pale in comparison to the access that MOTU's about to have on this sort of like
Correct.
global
Correct.
thing, right?
Yep.
So how are you feeling in general about, trailer aside, how do you feel about this idea that MOTU's going to have this huge moment to reach out to brand new audiences that they've never, what do you think?
So, Brick, I've been saying this a little while now, because, I mean, you cannot, I suppose you really could not top, let's just, everything being equal, you really could not top Master Universe between the years of 1983 through 1985.
Yep.
It was at the top of the world. The at least with kids, it was like back then it was $1 billion toy. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
Breaking records everywhere. And just for real context, this is after this thing called Star Wars that was explosive and kind of kicked off this action figure world that we know of. And then they're like, hold my beer. Yeah. Check out He-Man.
Mattel. Okay. So we had a it was interesting because, taking it to that level, it was fascinating because we went from Star to like the space toys, right? Like, doing the old Toy Story thing. We went from space toys, right? We went from space toys.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden Mattel's like, well, how are we different? Like, how are we different? You know what I mean? Like, what do we do to stand out? Right. And they had just come off, if memory serves, they had just come off an unsuccessful, what's it called? Collaboration with Clash of the Titans. Yes. That one did not do well at all. So you would think, fantasy would have been they would have been gun shy with fantasy at that point, right? Because obviously space toys are everything right now, right? In terms of like the action figure lines, right? Space toys and G.I. Joe was about to come up as well, right? A lot of different things. So they're like, how do we differentiate ourselves in the market? And they're like, you know what? Why don't we just go with like fantasy? Let's go with power. Let's go with big, hulking muscles. And at one point, and this is really interesting. At one point, they were courting John Mullis and what's it called? De Laurentiis, right? To talk about Conan. They actually were courting Conan the Barbarian at the time. Then at the 9th hour, they saw the first trailer for Conan the Barbarian, and they're like, "Oh dear God!" They were like, "No,
a little too adult."
They were like, "What is going on?" Like, nobody told us this was an R-rated movie. They were like, "Oh dear God, we got to change gears." But it was one of those. It was one of those things where they basically did cancel the contract in time, right? So there's a little fog area that a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's a ripoff of Conan." No, it's not, because what happened was, they tasked Mark Taylor and a whole bunch of designers at Mattel to come up with because they'd done all this work. So that they were like, you know what, let's come up with something original now. Let's come up with something that, here we go. Hey, it's a Pug with Toys.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just trying to give people their props. But yes, hello to Rick.
Sorry.
Hello to Raceland. Hello to Lawrence. Hello to Allison. Lovely
Allison's
to see
in the house.
You.
Hey.
Of course.
All the friends.
My bad. You can ignore the comments. I'm just highlighting some folks.
Yeah, no. You know what? Just like interrupt me. Don't.
No, it's all good. I'm just showing.
I'm in my own world right now. I'm listening. Barbarians, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So and here's a crazy thing. Mark Taylor had this kicking around for a while. He had a character called Torak, right? Yep. And he was, it was just an original character he developed, and he took that design and said, you know what, let me come up with 3 maquettes, right? 3 unique maquettes made out of I believe it was the Big Jim line. Put a whole bunch of putty on them and started making these huge freaking barbarians. And out of that came Vicron, right? Vicor, sorry. And again, he didn't have a name at the time. It was just literally three characters, right?
Yep.
It was an army character, it was an aerial character, and it was a barbarian, right? And they all had 3 unique designs. And you know what? After that, the Mattel execs were like, you know what? This barbarian guy, he looks neat, right? Why don't we keep developing this guy, right? And they kept. And then they went to Torak. They kept doing little things, and eventually they came up with something. Mark Taylor's original sketch of the there they are. You got them right there. right?
Yep.
This was the epitome. This was the genesis of what would eventually become He-Man in the Masters universe.
And let me pause you there real quick,
go ahead.
because as you were laying out, like, so much so, like, right now, I cover a lot of like the sort of indie maker kind of things where people are sculpting things, whether traditionally or 3D and 3D printing custom heads and all that. And all that goes back to this. Like, that's all the Mattel designers were doing. They were taking existing figures and dropping clay on it to make this body.
It's all kit bashing.
Yep.
That's all it is.
And look at these. Today we call this custom soft goods fur, but yeah, and all to communicate a concept and an idea. And like you said, some of this was based on his early art. Torak, shout out He-Mania.com. Yep. But yes, sorry, keep going now.
Yeah. And out of that came the very first sketch of the most powerful man in the universe, He-Man, right? Originally, it was actually part of the working title at the time was the Lords of Power, right? The Lords of Power toy line. And this is the 80s, man. Like, this is actually when this first started, it was the 70s, right?
Just the late 70s.
As you said, just after Star Wars, right?
Oh, right.
So Mattel's coming in. They want a boys' toy line, right? Something different, something unique, and they didn't want to do 3 3/4 inch figures. They wanted to be different. So they said, you know what? Let's go a little bit. Let's go bigger. Let's go badder. Let's get muscles in there. So they went with 5.5 inch action figures, right?
Yep.
And after the first initial sketch, then they started looking at enemies. There he is. There is the original first sketch of He-Man. And then you know what? He's beautiful. He lost the helmet, right? But pretty much everything else there stayed. Like this was essentially He-Man. This was the first archetype, the first sketch of He-Man. Now he also did lose the knife. That's the one. That's the other thing that he didn't get the knife back. But this was him. And
that's
then they developed.
Eddie Murphy would find that much later in the Golden Child.
And then they started developing other characters like Demo Man. But there he is. There's Vicor, right?
Yep. I'll just keep showing stuff. I don't mean to interrupt you. Keep going. You're on a roll.
Again, you can see the process and the thought, the development, and all the ideas that are coming across. Absolutely. But very much inspired by, again, artists like Frazetta, artists like Morris, artists like the really heavy hitting fantasy artists of the time. Right,
speaking my language. Yep.
It was a wonderful time to be a designer back then. Right, you had so many different references and so many different things to call from. But at the end of the day, you could also say that yes, Conan played a very, very big part in the development of Master Universe because Ron Howard, sorry, not Ron Howard,
not Lil Opie Cunningham.
Yes. Help me out here, Rick. Ron.
I don't know his. Sorry. Are you talking about the creator of Conan?
The Pulp Fiction novelist,
Rice Burroughs. No, not Edgar Rice Burroughs. I'm sorry, that's John Carter. It's something E. Howard. First name.
That's right.
Robert E. Howard.
Robert E. Howard. That's right. Robert E. Howard.
Did you catch the part where I'm pushing 50 earlier? I just want to be clear. But yes,
birds with a feather here. Birds with a feather.
Okay, fair enough.
Robert E. Howard. Created the original archetype for Conan in the Hyborian age, right? The Sumerian Conan. But before Skeletor was developed, there was actually a development of Demo Man. Demo Man was actually the very first idea for a villain, and then eventually they got the Skeletor.
Yep.
There he is. There's Demo Man.
Yep.
So magic in a bottle. Once they finally developed the first wave of characters, and you know what, the truth is, just like anything, it didn't really take off as well as they had thought it would. You know what I mean? They were hoping that it would really do well with the numbers. They developed a castle, they developed vehicles, right? They developed a first wave of villains and heroes. Man at Arms, Beast Man, He-Man, Skeletor, right? And that's actually today we celebrate that with the Lords of Power, right? That was actually where it was. They were the Lords of Power, the first 4 figures, the Lords of Power.
Yes, sir.
But then it got a little traction. But all of a sudden, and make fun of this all you want, okay? But they contracted a studio called Filmation to do a 30-second trailer for them. And here we go with trailers, right?
Yep.
Brick,
Yeah, yeah.
trailers really make some things happen.
Yeah,
And
they
if you
do.
could bring up that trailer, Brick, I think
Sure.
that would be a lead-in to where Master Universe really started getting their traction, because
I will definitely look at that, but let me just say that this animation that he's talking about, that was sort of a teaser, a test thing for Filmation. Man, if I could have gotten that as a kid, as a show, right? That would have
And
been absolutely amazing.
the most ironic thing about this trailer, this teaser, is that this was not shown to kids.
Nope.
This was a teaser that was done at the New York Toy Fair back in 1970. 1980. Right. This was a pitch, right, to try and get people excited about this property. Right.
And I'm gonna sort of start and stop, so I don't have to deal with copyright strikes or anything. But yes,
and the relationship that grew out of this singular animation would turn out to be the biggest marriage of toys and cartoons, and really set the bar for where the 1980s would start getting its reputation. That cartoons were literally just developed as commercials for toys. I think that I truly believe that Master Universe really led the way for this, because we can see here everything that's involved with the first wave. We see Skeletor, Beastman, we see Merman, He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Tila, right? And everything that happens inside the castle, you could do with the playset, right? The trap door, the throne room, right? The fact that if you take over Castle Grayskull, which they mentioned in the trailer, right? If he takes over Castle Grayskull, we need to stop him, right? You see the vehicles, right? The Sky Sled is one of the main vehicles. Battle Cat, another vehicle, right?
Hey,
Animal Companion, right?
Shout out to For Eternity He-Mania.
Huge shout out to foreternity.com for posting that. But as I said earlier, Filmation, a small independent American cartoon, a cartoon house, who knew that through this one, actually, this was farmed out to them. A Brick. This was actually just a job, right? Who would have thought that through this they would have developed one of the most successful toy line cartoon, collaborations in history, right? Because when the first Filmation cartoon, which is developed by Lou Scheimer, was finally aired in 1982. Sorry, 1980. No, it was 1983. In 1983, it literally blew the socks off everything. Like, toys started falling off the shelves. The cartoon was just absolutely like hitting ratings like there was going out of style. He-Man became every kid's dream. He-Man, Skeletor, all these fantastic, weirdos, these freaks, right, just started becoming the biggest thing, right? And the rest is history, my friend. The rest is history. And then, 5 years later, in 1987, just coming fresh off of the the movie Rocky 4. No, Rocky 4.
Rocky 4.
Rocky 4. Bill Conti, did an incredible soundtrack for Master Universe, just coming off of Rocky 4. And of course, the big rising star at the time, Dolph Lundgren, decided that he would lend his visage to the Master Universe. Freaking incredible. And of course, a lot of people are going to gripe about that film. I love it. There are a lot of us who do love this film. And of course, introduced it to Gwildor.
I was going to say
Gwildor of Pinar.
If you didn't do it, I would have requested the voice. Thank you very much. Yes.
He had to replace Orko because of obviously budget constraints. They couldn't get a Muppet which could float properly. You know what I mean? It would have looked too janky, right? So we got Gwildor of Pinar. And of course, we got the wonderful trio of He-Man, Tila, Man-at-Arms, and two young stars who would eventually go on to have storied careers of their own. We had Julie, played by
Courtney
Cox. That's right, Courtney Cox. And of course, Robert Duncan McNeil, who would go on to become who's Kevin, who would go on to become Tom Paris of Voyager fame, and the great Frank Langella, who quite literally did this as a request for his son. His son basically said, "Oh my God, Dad, you're going to be Skeletor," and you know what? He threw himself. He literally threw himself into this role, saying, "You know what? I have to do this for my son." He took, and you know what? As it has it, in many of the interviews, he literally said, "I didn't want this just to be a campy, role for a rubber suit monster." So I discussed this with Gary Goddard, the director at the time, and said, "Let me rewrite the lines for Skeletor because I think we really could have a performance here." And what a performance!
Yeah.
Right, to this day, absolutely bone chilling. Really, it was incredible. And he took this movie, carried it, put it on his shoulders, carried it across the finish line. Like seriously, if it wasn't for Frank Langella, I don't think I would have those great memories I had of this film. And now, Rick, oh my God, 39 years later. My apologies. 39
Round up, man. We're too old to be exact.
Later.
Go ahead. Yes.
39. I can't. I've been berated now multiple times for 40 years.
All those people. Who cares?
I know, right? 39 years later, I cannot freaking believe it. Masters Universe. And I said it. You called me out on it, Rick, and I'm gonna eat that crow. Happy to toast it up. It's okay, But
man.
The feet and all. I'm gonna eat it down the road. I now do believe I have a lot more hope. I'm still a little trepidatious. I'm not gonna lie about
come
that.
on.
I'm still a little just a tiny bit.
It's gonna happen.
Just a tiny bit, but
yes.
But I have way more hope now after seeing both trailers than I was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I literally said, "This ain't happening. No. It's never gonna happen. This is vaporware. They're gonna cancel it again just before the movie actually gets made." But now, holy crap!
It's here, and we got to finally see the first real presentation of it, right? Like, we've been waiting. A lot of us was like, "Hey, where's this stuff? We're not seeing a whole lot of press." And I've seen a lot of people get nervous and think that somehow means it's bad or whatever. I think more so what it means is they really wanted to hold back as long as they could to present something really well. They knew, like, especially with a property like this, we've seen versions of the conversation already, right? First, in the MOTU world, we saw it with Revelation and some of the early conversations and how that literally bit them in the ass. So, and then we've seen it with Star Wars. We've seen it with Marvel. So at the end of the day, they waited, and here we are. And I was actually kind of nervous. I was like, okay, I wonder what's this next thing that people are going to be unhappy about. Everyone's going to give us the litany of they didn't do this. Where is this? How come they're doing this? Too CGI.
So fun fact about
blah blah blah.
Fun fact about that. Fun fact. I was on a stream with my good friend Jeffrey Lyles of Lyles Figure Files just before we were streaming, and I asked him the question because my feed, such as it is, has never been this riddled with Master Universe content that I've never seen before. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's right. Mamoonstar. Robert E. Howard. Yes, Robert E. Howard.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. That's Matthew. Okay. But yeah. What's up, Matthew?
So
it was painful. I know for a fact that for him and a couple of people, when we were in that moment of what is his name? What is his name? They like literally were probably stroking out. So I hope you guys are good. Sorry, we're old. Sorry.
You know, right? Like, we have a lot of names on our heads. Let's just say it that way. And Ron Howard, Robert Howard. You see where my brain was going at that point.
I know. I totally know.
So the thing is, I'm seeing a lot. Hey, look who it is, Ian. See you, brother. Damn, tell us a story. What did he say? Dan, tell us.
Oh, he said, "Damn, tell us a story, Kuya." But I'm actually older than Jay. That's my brother Ted.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
no, dude, it's all good, bro. It's all good.
We're now acknowledging it's here. The trailer dropped. I think it's how long is this thing? 2 minutes and 24 seconds of really like Masters of the Universe throughout this thing. And, I'm sure you've all probably watched it. You've probably seen this guy do a breakdown. I watched like Jay, the other Jay, Geek Dad Life Jay, a bunch of folks, Saturday Morning Toy Collector, a bunch of folks had really great content around this, kind of
Pixel
breaking
Dan,
it down.
all
Pixel Dan, Mike, Eternian Royalty. And I think it's great because there's a ton in here, and I'll just, quickly scrub. The action clearly is like here, the drama. I love that someone in your stream earlier today, I'm forgetting names, sorry, but pointed out that, hey, isn't this going to be the first time when we've gotten more sort of definitive look at Adam's childhood? And it's true, right? It's going to be real for the first time on screen, spelled out, and it's cool. And we see his roots on Earth. I know a lot of people are like dying. They can't handle this concept, but it's hilarious, as you and many people have pointed out. If anyone is going to tell me and be upset around this conversation around gender and He-Man or whatever, you need to do your research, because literally they created this thing with the intent of defining what a boy's toy should be, and like playing on that thing. So literally the character's name, He-Man. So this is that beautiful thing that I see Mattel understanding with both the Barbie movie and this. There's a way to be sort of meta and explore our foibles as fans, and we can joke about it and laugh about it and think about it and still remember our childhood. Like, oh my God,
this is a complete joke. This is exactly, this is not even tongue in cheek. This is like in your face. It's like, Adam Glenn, right? Marlena Glenn's son, right? Yes. And he identifies as he, him. But what does that mean in the future? It means he will become He-Man. It's a joke. It's a freaking joke. So, you know what? Take it as such, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't take it seriously. It's a movie.
And let me build on that real quick, because again, it's, if you don't know that this is intended to be a power fantasy, like if you watch all the documentaries, they talk about that. They did focus groups with little boys, and they're talking about, I want to have the power, and I don't want to listen to my mom telling me to do this. I mean, for God's sake, the dude is searching for his sword, right? I mean, like, read into it, but like it's a power fantasy playing with a long sword weapon, and but
so
at
John
the end
L.
of the day, it's beautiful.
Click on John L's comment right
Sure, I'll try. Oh, here we go. Revelation killed me.
No. John L at the bottom. It's
a different one. Sorry.
Yeah, John L.
Okay, I was gonna say Lisa Roberts. Hope you were.
Yeah, Revelation killed me. Revelation was awesome. I love Revelation.
I'm with you
and
there.
I understand some people didn't like it. I totally get that.
But oh man, I'm not like
725.
Oh, okay. See,
725.
That would be 4:25 my time.
Yeah, 4:25.
John L. 266.
Yeah,
226.
It should have said He-Man. Then no, you know why it shouldn't have said He-Man? Because it's a joke. It's it's based on the idea of a joke of a pronoun. That was the whole joke. If you actually put he/man, the joke would be lost.
And also, I mean, that's the convention. My name is Adam Glenn.
Yeah,
I use he/him pronouns.
He/him pronouns.
Moving on.
That is the joke.
Yeah.
Like if you put the He-Man, it's way too on point. It's literally like, oh yeah, he knows who he is. That doesn't make any sense. It's supposed to be a joke. It's supposed to be wrapped in today's context, which is why it was in your face that way.
Yeah,
that is part of the joke.
Before we get too far in that, there are some chat things that are sort of related to this. First off, I'd love to highlight this. Nick, I got to hang out with this guy today. Wait for the sequel when Adora is she, her. Yes, well done.
Sure. What's the difference? What does it matter at that point? Right?
Yeah,
these are jokes for today. These are things which this is called the satire. And you know what? Things that this is a commentary on today's social political aspects. Right?
And again, that to me is what makes Mattel doing movies like they did it with Barbie, and I'm glad that they didn't. They're emulating what they were able to accomplish in a beautiful story that captured Barbie fans and others, right, who've just sort of like somewhat familiar with Barbie. And I feel like they're going to do something similar with He-Man and Masters of the Universe. So I'm really excited about that. But also, don't worry if you're thinking like, oh, that's too much. Like, did you see the explosions? Did you see the castle? We're good. Yeah. You're going to find something really in this
quick,
that you're gonna love.
Just because he brought it up, and this honestly, just because we have to respect everybody,
and we'll move on. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're going to say this one more point, and then we're going to move on. So Mossman Sean at 4:27, right? He says something, right?
Yep.
You just want to bring it up.
I'll find it. Go ahead.
Yeah, 4:27, Mossman Sean, right?
Mossman Sean. Hello, sir.
Yeah. If you have to spell it out, then it's not humorous. Here's the thing. The fact that everyone, noticed it means that you took it the way you took it the way you wanted to take it, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If it irked you in a certain way, maybe that was the point. But if you were able to take it and just be like, holy crap, that's funny, then you know what? It hit people in one way and it hit people in another way. That's actually what satire is meant to do, right? Satire is actually meant to throw it in your face. And you know, there are people who are going to be offended by jokes regardless of whether or not you get it, right? And that's what happened. There are so many hecklers out there, right? That just you know, go to comedy shows just to annoy the comedian. I think Jerry Springer ended up having to take on a heckler just a few weeks ago, and it was hilarious how he dealt with it.
Yeah,
he didn't get angry. He didn't freaking say throw that guy out. No, he literally just joked along with the guy and made it a funny moment that everybody laughed at. So you know what? That's the last we're going to talk about that guy.
Yeah,
so
I was just saying let's move.
Yeah.
But I want to ask you about stuff like this. So there were some
Sure.
new pieces introduced. There's going to be a ton of action. Clearly, the people working on this movie saw the property and understand it, you know, understand elements of it and really love it. But then they are also like, well, we're going to put some new things. Like this ship isn't exactly something that we've seen before, but it might hearken, as you pointed out, to some of the stuff from New Adventures and other awesome ships. So I'm curious, how are you in general feeling about the sort of the overall look and feel of this in terms of the way they've interpreted Eternia, in terms of the way they've interpreted the technology? How are you feeling?
So, and I saw the comment in the chat too.
It's
we
okay.
got to understand that there have been multiple iterations of Master Universe over the years, right?
Yep.
Multiple ones. We've had Filmation. We've had New Adventures. We've had 2000X. We've had Revolution, right? And there's a rumored a web series that's about that could possibly be coming on. But we've also had media from comic books and novels, and you know, apparently a new adult novel is coming up. It was my understanding from multiple sources that this scene right here possibly could be a nod to the spaceship Eternia, to the starship, Eternia, right?
Love it.
So so there is rooting here. There is a history on this type of ship, right? And if you really take a look at the angles, obviously the starship Eternia had two real long pods, right? Real long thrusters. Actually, four independent thrusters that can maneuver, very much like the Firefly, right? But I think that goes in line with the sensibilities of how technology would work in this setting, right? So they've redesigned perhaps an homage from the spaceship, from the starship Eternia to this. But how do I feel about that? I think it's fine. The world of Eternia, the world of Master Universe, is rooted in so much technology and fantasy. It is technology and fantasy working together.
That's right.
And every iteration that we've seen on screen of Master Universe, the Wind Raider, the Sky Sled, all of Man-at-Arm's trinkets, his little doohickeys and bobs, right? They all work, and they need to work in conjunction with magic. They are a society that understands magic is as important to their world as technology, and they need to work together with it. And in the case of Skeletor, he uses another form of magic called Havoc, right? So there's Havoc, right? There's the magic of the Eternians, and then there's also Preternia magic, right? So there's like ancient magic, present day magic, and even Havoc magic. So there's a lot of layers when it comes to Master Universe. So how do I feel about that? I think it is fantasy incarnate. I think if you are a Dungeons & Dragons fan, you'll know that technology has been melded into Dungeons & Dragons from the beginning.
And get your artificers; they're there.
It's fascinating to see, right?
Yeah.
If you look at Warhammer, Warhammer introduces mages. It introduces psychs. It introduces so many different elements of those, because again, that's a universal appeal, much like Master of the Universe, which spans the galaxies, the universes. So I think it's fabulous. I think it's awesome.
That's great. Yeah, and I will just say, and I've shared this sentiment before, that in general, when it comes to live action translations of stuff that I love, whether it's like the X-Men in the 90s or all the Marvel stuff in the MCU, that like I'm generally never like 100% bowled over, or don't like the redesigns, but not in a way that it ruins it for me. The true test is if I can sit through a film And, you know, I'll see that and basically I get, oh yeah, that's supposed to be Captain America. That's of my youth. That's supposed to be Thor. That's supposed to be Black Panther. But then they look different, but I'm like, no, I love this. I love this story. I love where it's going. I love the action. I love that they're bringing this to a wider audience. Then I'm for it. Like, regardless of if I have nitpicks around design and stuff. In general, I will say these designs, like, I like them as much as I like the MCU, which if you know me or you had a conversation around my thoughts on the art direction of the MCU, it's not my favorite, but I like the movies a lot. So I'm hoping that's what's going to happen here. And I also understand it. Like, there's just, if, as we started this off, we said MOTU is going to be on the sort of big stage, right? On a big platform, which means it's going to be introduced to a lot of folks who don't traffic in fantasy and sci-fi regularly. And so I get that they're trying to figure out what is that balance that will sort of do some level of helping it be recognizable to long-term fans, but also meaning that we might be able to appeal to and not turn people away who don't traffic in this stuff.
Yeah.
That said, I look at this castle, like, I think it looks really good. Those early shots, I was like, oh, that's so clean. But I'm like, wait a second. No, this is in a happier time. And then we get to this, and who knows what this will look like eventually, right? And it's going to look very Mark Taylor. That said, I really like what I'm seeing. Ultimately, it's going to be more about the story. And that's what I want to see. I want to see how these characters interact with each other. I want to see the stakes. You know, even this, like the translation of the Collector, if I'm assuming that's what that is.
That is the Collector, 100%.
I love the Collector that I grew up with. This is neat. I could go with it, but, you know, and that's fine. I'll go with it. I'm just happy.
If you rewind just a bit, if you go back a few seconds.
The Roton, or a little after that? Right here?
No. Did you go there? We just missed it. Go back just a tiny bit.
Oh, I should have used the wrong key. Right.
So stop. There, stop.
Oh, yes.
Do you see where we are? This is fun, right?
This is like these are Battle Bones for sure.
This is Battle Bones.
We might even be inside of Battle Bones.
You are inside Battle Bones.
Or like the castle, you know how Castle Grayskull sometimes is designed like a creature. We could be in one of the massive halls.
Sure.
But either way,
but I
holy
mean,
crap,
this
cool.
is probably Snake. To be honest with you, there's probably Snake Mountain. Those are probably snakes, right? But this is just a nod, right?
Yes.
These little nods that the filmmakers are making towards us. This really does harken to the idea that that you know what, earlier somebody mentioned it. Someone who was a fan made this film. You know what I mean? And Travis Knight has gone on record saying, "I loved Masters of the Universe as a kid." Right? Exactly. 2000X vibes. Yeah. This is like 2000X is heavily referenced in this film. The look of Skeletor is got to be 100% 2000X. He's got the red eyes. The first time he was ever depicted with red eyes on screen was 2000X, right? Because originally Filmation,
actually the animation we just saw had him with red eyes. The old school Filmation pitch.
It did, because the toy also had somewhat, you know, there was a red eyes in the toy, so that was referencing the toy. But Filmation proper, when they finally did the whole series, he never had red eyes, right? But what I mean by the look is his look is very much more akin to 2000X. Same thing with many of the characters who were like Trapjaw. Trapjaw looks like 2000X. His arm is like very 2000X inspired, right?
He-Man himself in his uniform has got some nods to that, as well. Some nods to like other statues. I think there's a Tweeterhead's.
For me, Mondo. Oh wait, Tweeterhead was definitely Skeletor. Skeletor's look is definitely 100% Tweeterhead as well. But He-Man, I think I did a bit of a deep dive, and I said that He-Man was actually, I think that Mondo deserves a nod for multiple characters inspiring Beastman and He-Man 100%. Like Mondo, definitely, I think that because the gauntlets themselves are unique. They actually have this metal piece on his gauntlets as well as his belt, which is not very traditional to the way it looked in canon for Filmation of the toys. And I think that it looks much more akin to Mondo. And Evelyn, again, her look here is 2000X, like very much so 2000X.
Yeah, this headdress and everything.
It's fabulous. I love the fact that she has white hair. That is so cool. Very much marketing to the character itself.
And it's that shorter haircut as well.
Yeah.
Looks
again, Travis Knight, regardless of anything, he definitely did his homework, right? Whether or not he was really a fan or not, he did his homework. Like this is some This is some great stuff happening right now.
I will say, you know, so this comment, is it Yurizinish? Saying somebody feed Fisto some protein power, and that's the thing. Like these body types from the toys were intentionally over the top, and so when they're trying to put together the film, they opted to, you know, have some folks who've established careers and have a certain level of exposure and can maybe reach certain audiences, and they're not all gigantic and buff. Let's be real. Even back in the 80s, they got Ivan Drago, and he wasn't even bulky.
He was
in
very
that
tall.
way.
He had the
So
style, but he was taller. He was very tall.
I just wanted to acknowledge this because that is a little bit of an odd thing, because, you know, you see them walking and things like there's a Ram Man in that one scene earlier in sort of the walking through the battle bones, if you will.
Yep.
And short and all that kind of thing. And some of that stuff you just kind of let go. And that's what at least for me, speaking for myself, is I'm going to wait for the story. I really want to see the sort of story and how they get the interactions right. But at the end of the day, when did we get, this is the first time we're seeing in live action an actual.
So I would like to follow up on one point with that.
Go for it. And then we'll move on. We should move on.
If you will, the Filmation He-Man is actually a lot more slender than his toy counterpart. Like very much so, right? And many of the characters there were actually a lot thinner. But this actually has to do with rotoscoping. You know, what they would do is they would bring in bodybuilders into the studio and really see how they move, right? So those bodybuilders were not hulking like Arnold Schwarzenegger type bodybuilders. They were a lot more sleek, right? But as kids, we really accepted it. It was a fun way of looking at the show. Now, there were scenes where he's roping the moon, or, you know, grabbing a mountain and, you know, making it very, very much cartoony, you know, scenes from like Warner Brothers and stuff, right? Where he's just it's cartoon physics, right? And there he would just, you know, his body would like balloon up. But the reality is the majority of the characters in Filmation were actually much thinner than they were portrayed in the toy. So I think that they're taking those cues and using that as a jumping off point. Even New Adventures as well. New Adventures, they were very, very slim, you know, compared to their 80s, compared to their 83 counterparts, right? New Adventures was very, very much more streamlined, right?
Yep.
They really brought it back with 2000X. 2000X, everybody got like jacked again. Like they were all freaking gigantics. Like some of the monsters, like Whiplash and Clawful, they were huge. They were massive, and that's being reflected now with Mondo's 2000X line of action figures, right? But I'm very happy to see that Mattel proper is actually going with a much slimmer line. They're actually doing a lot thinner action figures than you would expect for Master Universe. So very interesting the way the development process is going with this. But I personally, just as a matter of fact, I like the way Galatzine looks. I like the way Fisto looks. I like the way they've cast this film. I think they cast very well.
That's great. Yeah, and I agree. Like, again, the proof in the pudding is going to be their interactions or conversations. But when I look at the cast and sort of what the cast's members have done in their careers, I totally see them going like, okay, let's get this actor who has appeared in these kinds of things to attract a younger audience, an older audience who likes solid drama and action. You know, I feel like it seems very strategic, and I don't mean that in a cynical way.
No.
Because at the end of the day, they all have to have talent. So like that's first and foremost, and then that.
I'm on board with you 100%.
Yeah.
This is an effort, an actual concentrated effort to try and see if an audience of today will buy, the idea of Eternia, will buy the idea of fantasy, and I think that because of shows like Stranger Things, okay, we are now, and it's no surprise why Stranger Things did a crossover with MOTU. Okay? There is no surprise in that, because they are priming up audiences to say, hey, Dungeons and Dragons, if you got into it because of Stranger Things, here's something else that is very Dungeons and Dragons like fantasy, technology, right? And here is a star that can bridge that gap between, as you sort of mentioned, right? Galaxy, Mendez, these young actors have the ability to bridge that gap and allow people to say, you know what, this is kind of neat, right?
Yep.
I want to see what happens in the next film. And I think
Agreed.
we're setting up for a franchise here. I think that's what they're looking for, honestly.
Absolutely. And I think that brings us to this question of genre and sort of the science fantasy of it all. Here we have, I love that it starts off with a voiceover of Adam, right? Sort of like setting up the world really and talking about this world of legend and swords giving you power. Like we know this is for those who are unfamiliar with Mattel created this, they're very much drawing from different archetypes and things that existed. So the whole, sword in the stone granting you power, that's not new, right? I remember when I was a kid, I'd go to Universal Studios and I got to see the Conan live show back in the day. Wow. And I don't know if you've ever seen video of that or whatever,
no.
But fun fact, first off, the guy who did the Masters of the Universe movie in the 80s worked on that. Like that was
John
that was
Hughes
his.
really?
No, sorry. Who was the filmmaker of the Masters of the Universe?
You're talking about Gary Goddard.
Yes,
Goddard.
he worked on the stage show, producing that show. And in that show, it starts off with Conan, but it starts off in this beautiful, like, oh my God, Jay, this was like the fantasy in the real world, not on the screen, right? It was this beautiful temple with a gigantic like snake statue in the middle. And first off, a woman drops down with red hair, barbarian woman. And you're like, whoa, there's like Red Sonja vibes.
Red Sonja.
And then this skinny dude in full-on clothes pops in. He's like a thief, right? Dungeons and Dragons thief. Sure. And then later they get attacked and he sees the sword that's stuck in a stone. He grabs it. Smoke comes up and he turns into buff Conan.
Wow.
And so it's from, like he was saying, like he wanted to make a Masters of the Universe movie and kind of worked out some of the ideas. All that to say is look at what we're seeing right here in a major motion picture Hollywood film in 2026. We're going to see this scene. This transformation scene is epic. And I will say this right here, man. This says it all. Yes, it's fantasy. Yes, it's some weird, dark, gothic cave with potential creatures or whatever, but there's clearly tech here. And this is my jam, man. This is how I'm collecting toys right now. Trust me, if I had $1 million, I'd be collecting G.I. Joe, doing all sorts of modern military stuff with Operation Monster Force. Like that stuff is amazing. I'd be doing hardcore sci-fi and only that because I love that too. But right now I've been in this mode of with Masters of the Universe stuff, trying to capture Jack Kirby, capture a little bit of Rice Burroughs, Howard, a little John Carter of Mars, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, combination of this science, sword, sandals, spaceships, all the S's of science and fantasy. So on that note, I did want to kind of like move on a little bit. So sidestep Masters of the Universe. We'll get to you celebrating Masters of the Universe in a little bit.
Sure.
But we'll get back to that. I want to go here. So you already earlier when we started, you talked about this guy named Frazetta, who I'm sure folks who watch this show regularly on your channel know. A wildly talented artist who in his day was working on all sorts of things, was just an artist, worked so hard to figure out the anatomy and kind of did it his own way. But he ended up getting picked up by, folks, the publishers of the Conan books and all sorts of fantasy books and sci-fi books and said, hey, can you do a cover for us? And many, like in many ways, he helped sell Conan to a generation on those covers.
Absolutely.
So the estate of Frazetta at this point is sort of split up between two parties. There's a grandson and then the group of a daughter and granddaughter. So the Frazetta girls, whose social media account you're seeing here, posted this the other day. It's nothing new, right? We've known this. If you watch any He-Man Masters of the Universe documentary, they say as much. Like Mark Taylor was very much inspired by Frank Frazetta.
Sure.
So I just love this. This post came out a day ago, probably in light of the Masters of the Universe stuff. I love it. They're like, did Frank Frazetta inspire MOTU and He-Man from the very beginning? A May 22nd, 1980 internal document points directly to Frazetta as a key visual reference. And so we were looking at some of this art earlier. So on the left, you have Frank Frazetta's art, and on the right, you have some early He-Man prototype on the top, and then the first classic He-Man head. I mean, look at that, Jay. Just visually, kind of no duh, right? I mean, it's like we see the elements, and then we see it here as well in that first prototype, as you said, like even in the, this helmet pot thing. But here's that thing that we've seen. This is, again, nothing new, but I love it. This is a memo, right? For, hey, we need you to create a quote unquote boys line that's going to really embrace fantasy make-believe. And it says here, it may be time to introduce the male action fantasy line, a new theme of fantasy make-believe. The theme would be oriented towards Frazetta, typo, Frazetta type figures, possibly combined with parts of Conan and Flash Gordon and Star Wars. Frazetta type subject matter, right? Had no advanced technology, vehicles and accessories, but these can be added within this theme. Boom. Like, and the rest is history. And I love that they embraced it. And, we see sort of where we go from here. By the way, that QR code is down there, and there's a URL that'll pop up there shortly. You'll see it right there, that bit.ly link. After the show, all these links will be available if you want to check this stuff out. Please do go follow Frazetta Girls and everybody else we look at, he-mania.org. he-mania.com and the likes. So that said, let's take a look a little bit and look at kind of this DNA and the roots of MOTU and space fantasy. You can kind of see here, this is one of the Frank Frazetta's covers. Sorry, Frank Frazetta's artwork that got picked up for a fantasy line. This is for Lynn Carter's 1967 novel, Thongor Against the Gods. Not at all familiar, but look at that image and who cares? Like, for real, like that says it all, right? That's got to be tattooed on my back or on the side of my phone. And you can kind of look at this stuff. It's just the beautiful. I don't even know what this, this was for a cologne commercial of all things. Amazing. But just Frank Frazetta, man, and you mentioned Boris earlier.
Yep.
They were working on this idea of gigantic buff barbarian swords, sandals, axes, the whole nine, dealing with the elements. Come on, like a lightning bolt coming down and striking your sword. That feels familiar.
Yeah.
And awesome. So I don't know. I love this stuff. And we can go on and take a look, gigantic cats, amazing badass women. Like this is, I look at this and I was like, this is Frazetta's version of a cat lady.
Sure.
But
this
awesome, man.
This, was probably one of those things that inspired Fire and Ice.
Yep.
I mean, Tigra and her panther, right?
Yep.
This is more like a saber tooth.
Tigra.
So,
beautiful.
Yeah, it's exactly, the type of thing that was going on at the time, right?
So that's the more of the sword and sandal thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, but they're also referencing, the classical artists as well. I mean, like, they're looking at Renaissance artists just as much as anything else. The David, right? The Vitruvian Man, right? Those are heroic type characters. Like, if you actually take a look at David, he's actually 2 heads higher than he should be, right? But it's because where they put it on a pedestal, you look up at David, right? And because you look up at David, it foreshortens him, right? But when you stand back, when you go from the other end of the room, you realize that, hey, there he is, Boris Vallejo. Sold this. Yes, we were talking. We've been mentioning Boris for quite some time, Basher.
Yep.
Hey, what's going on, Ray? Good to see you. See some really, really familiar names here.
Just saying hi to them. Keep going. I'm waving to them. They know what's up. But keep going. You do.
It's just one of these things where you draw from the inspirations of the past to bring to bring it to you, and that's exactly what Boris and Frazetta. You can tell they were looking at something, but they obviously had this spark of, like, an ancient age where men had to exist with ferocious creatures, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't have the technology that we have today. So what did they do, right? They were always constantly at war. They were always looking for the next conquest, right? And you know what? That means that you have to get stronger, you have to get better, you have to be faster, right? And there it is. Like, you know, it's just
sex appeal.
It's a beautiful depiction of humanity, right? In its most basic form, in its most like primal. It's really a primal thing for Masters of the Universe. For artists like Frazetta. And you know, to this day, people still look to Frazetta and to Boris and to all these wonderful fantasy artists for inspiration whenever they're doing. If you look at any, like, just actually, that was a really good example. Go back to the last slide. The last slide is possibly an homage.
Yeah, right? It's totally timeless. Like these have become archetypes, right? Yeah. And we see it pop up all the time, and it's tribute. It's in the zeitgeist. It's just sort of subconsciously in our brains at this point. It's a part of our culture, right? Just like anything else, right?
Erwin Papa's got a great one, actually. Right at 454.
This one. Yeah. Filmation also produced a Flash Gordon cartoon. Yes, they did. It's an excellent one. Before MOTU, some Flash Gordon animation sequences were also appropriated for the MOTU cartoon. Absolutely. Right. They were always sort of cutting costs and finding ways to make it on budget by reusing cells, poses, etc. On that note,
the main female lead in Flash Gordon ended up being very much a Tila type of character.
Yes.
So yeah.
Well, here, let me first off, let me go by way here. This is another beautiful one from another book by Gardner Fox, Warrior of Larn. Again, not something I'm familiar with. Gardner Fox, I do know the name. He wrote DC Comics back in the day. All that aside, look at this. Like, I want this toy. Give me, and this is so Eternia coded, right? Or vice versa, the other way around. It's very much that mix of like, we ride steeds, but they're fantastic steeds in space, and all of this, the background, you were mentioning Obrero earlier and Alcala, like when Rudy was doing the boxes, like always those backgrounds were always like some deep space thing just like this. But to go back to the Flash Gordon of it all, Frazetta did Flash Gordon, but he did it very Frazetta. Yeah. So his take on Flash Gordon was very much like more of the blend of the creatures and the what do you call them? Sort of the bikinis, right? of fantasy, of the barbarian. Even Flash Gordon here, he's got like, he's got
Flash Gordon was a product of this time as well, right? They were a little bump. They were small films, right? In the little shorts. I believe it was the 40s, right? The 40s or 50s.
These shorts, Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were small film shorts, right? Mm-hmm. And they were just used as bumpers to before you walked into the theater. Very much like Warner Brother cartoons. You know what I mean? But this was the thing at the time. Like it was all about how much could you get away with, right? Film was a very expressive thing at the time, and you could do things in film at the time that you couldn't really do in regular society, right? So definitely got to get a little careful with this one.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's art. Hopefully it doesn't get me banned
it's fine. It's fine. I was just joking.
But particularly the costumes, like it's totally like that Flash Gordon is not necessarily the one from the serials. It's spacey, but it's very fantasy. And then we go to here he ended up doing stuff for all sorts of properties. He did Battlestar Galactica.
Battlestar Galactica.
Nothing like the Battlestar Galactica that we ended up with, but it's still Frazetta and gorgeous stuff.
The way the fabric just sticks to the women, it really is one of those things where it's cold in space, man. It is cold in space, like crazy, absolutely crazy. Rick, you got a super chat right now. If you
shoot, all right, where's the super chat? Hey, tea drinker Gary, what's going on, sir? He's saying, oh my god, this franchise just clicked with me. Hold on, that's not even the right one. Well, it is, but it's not showing up. Sorry, let me pop up. Where do I
if you go to Starred, you go to Starred, it could be right.
Yes. OMG, the franchise just clicked with me. I never understood why people hated Highlander 2 for combining aliens and technology with magic. I thought it was different. I always wished they stuck with it.
Oh, man.
Remember Highlander 2?
You know what? It's funny, Rick. You and I could have discussions on Highlander and Highlander 2 and Highlander, like we
Yeah,
could do that
totally.
for an age. So Highlander 2 is definitely one of those films which has had a crazy development and then even crazier history being retconned. It literally was a film which was retconned, like on top of itself. The filmmakers actually went and in the subsequent releases of the film on DVD, on VHS, on multiple say there are versions that just completely disavow the idea of another planet. They recut the film so that it would actually cut that out, right? But it was fascinating to think that all of the immortals actually came from somewhere else. They plopped themselves on Earth and they continue to reincarnate because of the unique properties of this planet, right? That was a really interesting take. But when you are invested as a fan for Highlander, much like you would be invested as a fan for Master Universe, much like you would be invested as a fan for G.I. Joe, when you start to change the elements, it will get some raised eyebrows, right? Sure. And I think that's actually what happened with Highlander. Highlander had a dedicated fan base of fans who said, "What the heck is this? Why all of a sudden are they born on another planet? Why? Where did that come from?" Right? And it was a bit jarring, right? The quickening.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, fast forward to 2026, we look back on it fondly. We enjoyed what we had. The first Highlander didn't go anywhere, and guess what? Highlander 2 had its fans as well. And so I don't know. I think first off, thank you so much, Tea Drinker Gary, for the generous super chat. 10 pounds.
10 pounds.
10 pounds. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate you. And absolutely, like I think there's a through line from Masters of the Universe, Frazetta, this blending of science fiction and that John Carter of Mars, etc.
Absolutely.
And that attempt to do Highlander 2 and work in the alien cosmology stuff.
Yep.
First off, I do want to acknowledge this. Mossman Sean, you are not wrong. That's totally me. It's just something that I need to do. Apologies. Now, try your best to watch the stream and not hear it every single time. Okay, moving on. So
get that 9-volt. I'm gonna send you a pack of 9-volt.
It's more like we were sitting here and we're like, wait, where is this one? Where is the smoke detector? Anyways, let's talk about Frazetta. Let's talk about toys now. It's mainly what you and I traffic in these days and the content of our stuff. Yes, we talk movies that are related to this stuff. But speaking of Frazetta girls, they also make toys with their partners and they're essentially their toy arm, Icon Collectibles. And this year they unveiled, 2025, they unveiled these, and then these are going to be coming out this year. They're doing 5.5 inch, very much Masters of the Universe. Talk about full circle, right?
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe style body action figures using Frazetta's work. So Death Dealer, you've got John Carter here as done by Frazetta, and you've got Conan,
that is
of course.
Yeah.
And they do amazing, 112, 110, depending on who you talk to, 6.5 inch action figures that I love. And that's kind of my main shelf stuff, but I still can admire and appreciate this thing, like really going back to this classic MOTU format, right? The one that Mattel tried to sue other people to prevent them from ever making figures like this.
We are very fortunate. We are very fortunate that they tried.
To sue?
The courts did see that, in the spirit of the law, you cannot copyright the human anatomy. You just can't do that, guys. And thankfully for that, 5.5 inch figures in squat, barbarian poses are everywhere. So Flipboard, like Flipboard is a good example of that. So.
How dope is this? And other cool. Snell's World is saying he's got them on pre-order.
Yep.
It sounds like maybe Lisa Roberts hasn't seen these. If you haven't, definitely check out Frazetta Girls stuff. Again, after the show, I'll have all the links together. But this stuff is really cool. Again, it's not my thing to collect, But how awesome is it that these exist, especially if you do have like a vintage collection or you're an Origins collector? Imagine being able to throw in these guys on that shelf. And if you're a mint on card collector, how badass is it to get, you know, the reference for Zeta picture next to this cool figure? I just think these things are incredible. They totally speak to the mix of here's your fantasy, you know, full on barbarian, and here's your mix of sort of sci-fi on Mars. I love these things. Like
They are
this
incredible.
here's Matthew saying they look fun, not my thing, so he's like me, but I saw the final production samples and they look good. Yeah, amazing stuff. Are you mainly collecting, would you say you tend to Jay, collect Origins over the sort of
Masterverse?
7-inch Masterverse?
So yeah, my preferred size is definitely Origins.
Okay.
But I love Masterverse. I do. I love Masterverse. But if I miss a Masterverse character, I'm not really going to cry over it. You know what I mean? Like that's the kind of collecting I have right now. If I can get any classics character at a decent price, I'm jumping on it. You know what I mean? Like that's just you know, they are classic. Exactly what it is. They are the classics. So that's something that I really do generally want to collect. But if I could get Masterverse figures loose and cheap, I would definitely be going on that. Yes. 100%.
Okay. And that's probably something you can do these days. If not even loose, you can get some in package and cheap. But this is cool. This might be something you throw in there next to your awesome flipboards that you had a hand in bringing to life. But yes, I think these are fantastic. So if you're looking for a Frazetta fix, you can go that way. Or like I said, you've got Frazetta girls. They do larger figures. I have their Dark Wolf, Vampirella. Is that it? I think that might be it. I'm trying to remember. But oh no, I've got their Conan, the recent Conan as well. They're fantastic figures. Now, I know they're not without their sort of limitations. If you're looking at sort of comparable types of figures, I know folks want to see certain things with articulation, etc. That said, I don't know if you've looked at these at all or seen these or paid attention to them, Jay, but you can kind of see slowly as time moves on. I mean, they're a really new company. They've only got a couple of figures to their name, but they've already started to rethink things, including adding some double knees that we didn't have before. I know they're always sort of tweaking with articulation. There are features on some of the newer ones that the older ones don't have. And I'm really excited about this. I want a John Carter. The last couple of them tended to be more of the sword and sandal variety. But look, we're getting some beautiful Martian puppies, some Martian good boys in the mix. Even
the
if
best boys ever.
Yes. Even if it's just a little slug figure, it's amazing looking. The paint on these look great. And I'm going to get something that represents John Carter on my shelf. Full on, like, look at that. Come on, that is like beautiful, weird old sci-fi interpretation of a revolver with a sci-fi cutlass. And look at that sort of gear. If that's not like the roots of, again, He-Man, I don't know what is.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I really here's something else too. I actually am kind of disappointed that Disney didn't market John Carter from Mars the way it should have been. It was a great film. I really liked John Carter from Mars. I thought it should have had
I did too. I just rewatched it about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. I thought it definitely should have had a sequel. It was unfortunate that it didn't. And I'm really hoping that somebody might take another chance at it. Having said that, I love Fire and Ice. I have Tigra. I have Dark Wolf. I have
cool.
Actually, that's it. I really want to get Necron. He looks awesome, right?
Yep.
And obviously, we're waiting for what was the kid's name again? The hero of the movie. What was his name?
Of which movie?
Fire
and Ice. Oh God, I had a hard time with Robert E. Howard, dude. Come on. Don't even count on me to do it.
I think
But
it was
yes,
I think it was Darien or something like that. Hold on for a second. Let me check out.
that I just rewatched too, and I don't remember. Like seriously, guys, got a lot on my brain, and I'm old. Brian Endless Fables is saying they're talking about a TV
It was
series.
Lamb.
Okay,
I think it was Lamb.
not her brother. You're talking about the blonde dude, right?
Yeah, her love interest.
Yeah. Sorry, real quick. That would be amazing if they do a TV series, because I think we'll get way more into Barsoom and sort of the culture and the intrigue.
Absolutely.
That would be amazing. Anyway, I think this is it right here. Nolan says, if this new Masters of the Universe movie, I'm presuming that's what he's saying. If the new movie blows up, it'll open the door for so much more. Absolutely. I think that's why it's going to be pretty important to, I think, support MOTU if you're into this genre in general. So Larn, damn it. Thanks, Solo Center.
Larn.
Good to see you, man.
I got to it too late. It was Larn.
Anyway, I think this figure's looking great. This is definitely one that I will be on top of, that I just sort of want. Again, I like a lot of what Frazetta Girls does, but the funny thing is, even they're not the only ones doing Frazetta stuff. So this is Big Bad Toy Store, and if you just did a search for Frank Frazetta, you would see that Executive Replicas and Loose Collector are doing somewhat pricey, but pretty cool looking Death Dealer with his horse. We're getting the Frazetta Girls stuff, as you see here, 5.5 inch, and this is some of the other stuff they've done. But also Harbinger Studios, which pops up eventually. We've got Formo here doing some amazing stuff. Someone in the chat I know asked about those. Again, it's not my format, but holy crap, these things look really, really good. I borrowed that from you, Jay. Holy crap. Here, Bash and Forge is saying yes. So these are the Formo Toys ones. They look fantastic. But I want to land here with Harbinger Studios, who, with their Savage Crucible line, have been able to reach out and work with the other half of that Frazetta estate, with the Frazetta Museum. And this is the first one that they released, which is his warrior with ball and chain, which I have. It's a fantastic figure. There is going to be a Death Dealer that's going to be coming out that I have on pre-order. And then there's also the Kubla Khan, who BBTS doesn't carry. But I share those all because, like Frazetta is here. So like now MOTU's big, and now is the opportunity for Frazetta proper to get his props and attention in the toy world. So for what it's worth, I think you all should consider supporting it and checking it out, because I love this stuff and I want to see more of it. So there you go. I want to highlight, let's see, this new name to me, but so hello, good to see you. I want to say that was maybe Hitchcock, but maybe not. Hickcock 100. I'm in for the John Carter movie. You can feel the love that Stanton had for that world, but the studio was definitely not on the same vibe, unfortunately. Yeah, and unfortunately, the studio didn't know what they had and didn't know how to market it. And so, that I feel like was a little bit of a missed opportunity. Oh, and I'm not ignoring the chat, by the way. I know Jay, when Mega Jay is doing his thing, he goes through the entire chat. And I apologize. There's so much, but I will acknowledge this because I know folks are like, hey, you're brick something. Someone asked, could we get MOTU Lego or even Conan Lego? And this is saying, is it possible to get MOTU Legos, or does it have to be Mega Construct since Mattel owns them? And I think that's the answer right there for sure. There's Mega, and they're going to continue to make their brick-based stuff. So, all right, going back, Frazetta, all sorts of toys, all sorts of great options. Check out the indies, which I tend to traffic in on this show. Formo Toys, Frazetta Girls, Harbinger Studios, Executive Replicas, and Loose Collector. They're doing amazing stuff. Check them out. Okay, let's switch gears a little. Speaking of Savage Crucible, check this out, Jay. So Savage Crucible, for their Kickstarter that I went in on a long time ago, one of the things that they sort of had available, and they said, we probably can't produce and sell this, but we will make it a reward for you to download the file and print. And so what do people do? They download it. Wow. Yeah. That's a thing. And so this is a sample of someone getting being granted access to that file early and painting it up to give you a sense of it. And I just want to, Savage Crucible posted this last week. This is the Abyssal Throne 3D file. Apparently it's already been sent out to the backers of Wave 3. I wonder if you automatically get that. I got to check if I have access to that, because I did back the 3 waves. But here is an example. And this was painted by Alex Wu. And check out that paint job, man. Look at it looks like brass or copper with a little bit of patina.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look at the stonework going on in this beautiful, beautifully painted object that you can then use for your Harbinger of the Abyss figure or just any other figure. And this is kind of what, for folks, if you're new to the channel or checking out this show, I love to look at sort of the indie toy lines and the indie makers and creators out there doing their thing, because I think they actually can help raise the bar maybe for some of our expectations from the larger toy companies. General reaction, Jay, as a toy connoisseur and a person who traffics in, this kind of stuff. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, I do love the paint. The paint job on it is great, but obviously the 3D file that it came from is
right.
like top notch, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is definitely something that that I am 100% in on. It could be it could be the Throne of Atlantis. It could be so many different. It could be Arthur's throne. It could be so many different things, right? But it could be any sort of fantasy epic, right?
Yep.
I do love the design. A lot of tentacles, a lot of like fish heads, and great things for an undersea. And it's even got some crab claws there, right? So what is that? Is that a Savage Crucible figure? Because that
is a Savage Crucible figure from Wave 2.
It's a lot bigger than I thought it was. I thought it was.
It's a big piece. Yep.
I thought his legs went down to the floor, but man, he's dangling. He's like a little guy. He's a
Savage Crucible runs 6.5 and slightly bigger, depending. But that's this guy. It's a large figure. So yes, it's a huge throne, and man, it is fantastic. And Jordan from Canada and Nolan already went there. If you're a MOTU fan, this is potentially your throne for Merman.
Yes, 100%.
You've got some talented friends. Absolutely. Reach out to them and see if you can, grab one of these, because it is beauts. Just wanted to share that. Let's keep going on some of the fantasy vibes. Again, the maker customizer. Shout out to Action Point Studio, who makes beautiful pieces for Mythic Legions. So what you're looking at is a Mythic Legions, what they call a 2.0 figure. So this is the thinner female body. And what you see here from Action Point Studios is a custom head that they painted, a custom arm, on both sides of the wrap and everything. And then these sort of, this pants right here with I don't know what you call them, pantaloons or even knickers, put together on on a Mythic Legions body. Just, again, the imagination in the community, as well as the technology that we have now in our fingertips to be able to make this kind of cool custom stuff. Just thought it was kind of cool. This is your Hammer Girl. Stop. Hammer Girl. Pants included. Yeah, right?
I know, right? Exactly.
Anyway, I know you've got some Mythic Legions. I saw you unbox, is it Thrace, I want to say? And this is actually...
Wraith
similar body.
Yeah.
Similar. She's got that sort of bodice or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And you can kind of see their studio and all the different lower body torsos. They've got a bunch of different parts. So definitely check out Action Point Studios. Hand done, folks. Like, this is them in their studio just doing their craft. So please, again, I want to make the pitch. I don't, when I send you to the URL that's down at the bottom on the banner and that QR code, there's no money involved. There's no cookies. Like, I think there's a bit.ly link that whatever, but it's literally just because I want to spread the love. I want you to see these people. I want these folks to be known because their work is amazing. So go over, the Action Point Studios and all the other folks we're looking at. Look at this. Like, the reality is, Four Horsemen make fantastic figures and fantastic heads, but they can only do so much. So if you look at, you've got the makers, talented makers and sculptors and painters giving us more. Like, we don't have this style head. We don't have this style elf. All of this. We don't have that. So enter Action Point Studios and other folks giving it to us. So, you know, incredible. There it is. Beautiful stuff.
Absolutely. And, you know, on that, there are a lot of customizers out there who are doing some incredible work too, right? I mean, Hordek MX, you know, comes to mind, and some other wonderful creators out there. And that's what I love about Legion's Con. The fact that there are just so many customizers out there, and people who are doing some incredible work, and we get to see that firsthand when we go to that convention. It's just inspiring every single time.
Yep. And it's not just Mythic Legions, man. We are spoiled for sort of your sword and sorcery and barbarians kind of figures, including Hilder here. So the body that you're looking at is a Zezre Studios figure, and I'm looking around to try and figure out where mine is because it's an amazing figure. It's here somewhere in this mess. But people create custom parts. So here's a head for her that's very much, you know, Valkyrie with a or you could maybe do it as a stand-in for a She-Ra, if you will. Beautiful stuff. Again, shout out to Rogue Printing Machine, and this is sculpted by Blackbeard Tatch. It's another account that you should follow. But look at that. That is just so incredible. Like, so they get to do things that, you know, some of the companies understandably can't always pack in multiple heads and alternate heads, where you've got the helmet with the helmet and angry face, action face, and the sort of shields down look. But man, some amazing stuff. And absolutely Snell's World. Joe Amato's great. I've got a couple of things from him, including my
Joe Amato's done
Mumra Crypt. So, hey, what's up, Red Exo Mac?
I've always been into the Valkyrie look. I think Valkyries are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You know, true warrior goddesses to the nth degree. And I've always enjoyed Hermes' helm. You know, like the winged helmets. I love those ideas. You know what I mean? Thor. I thought the first Hermes helm from Thor was actually okay. I didn't actually mind it. You know what I mean? The one that was in the first movie.
Yep.
And of course they gave him a sort of homage to that in Ragnarok, which was fun. Right? But obviously, you know, movie stars being movie stars, they don't want to wear helmets. They want to be seen. You know what I mean? Which is one of the reasons why I really respect Carl Urban for what he did in Judge Dredd. I thought he did an amazing job. Never once taking off that damn helmet. Like, wow.
Not at all afraid of hiding his face at all.
Yeah,
and just
dedication. That is
such a great performance, man.
And of course, he's Johnny Cage.
Oh God, that movie. Hey, what's up, man? Tea Drinker Gary, thank you so much. You're super generous, and you don't need to do the super chats. If you chat him and we see him, I'll definitely pop him up. But he says, do they have a name for the specific type of figure the old He-Man figures were? Because they did slasher characters, and that was cool. And do you mean sort of the 5.5-inch squat body type? If that's what you mean, there's no like name for it, I guess. Just 5.5, I guess.
I'm wondering. Hold on. Do they have a name for the Pacific type? I know we're thinking Pacific, but we're thinking specific.
Oh, I assumed it was specific, but yeah, I don't know.
Pacific type of figure. The old He-Man figures were, because they did a slasher character, and that was cool. Could Tea Drinker Gary be talking about some of the later editions, which were like there were because Formo Toys is actually doing an homage to many of those. I see what you're saying.
Like those classic sort of not on brand, but similar.
Yes.
Remco kind of style body.
Like Remco did a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
Right?
But I think Alan figured it out. He's saying that Savage World, the Funko line, they actually did do the slashers.
So that's probably it, right?
It was like a Jason and a Freddy. And then they also didn't they do a Thundercats?
They did. They did Thundercats. They did DC Savage World.
Yep. Yep.
They did so many. So yes, Tea Drinker Gary. Maybe that's one of the ones you're thinking about. Let us know, because they did a great homage line, and they did, of course, as you said, they did a slasher line as well. So
Yep.
great stuff.
All right, let's sort of see what other last couple of things we've got that I think on the sort of fantasy tip. Nolan collects, great channel. Go check him out and check out his Instagram.
Nolan is freaking awesome. Love Nolan.
But I love that he's taking. So this is a Four Horsemen pop and swap. So this is a figure obscura, Rat King. Yep, Mouse King. Sorry. And you've got parts of the Turpiculi here and from Mythic Legions put together to make this awesome build. And I just love that we're in this place now. I remember playing with Masters of the Universe back in the day, the old school vintage, and realizing you could pop off the arms and, of course, the armor. And of course, what are we going to do? We're going to swap it up and be like, what if they had... And fast forward to the Four Horsemen, who famously worked on the 2000X Mike Young Productions figures. Later worked on MOTU Classics, create their own line. And one of the features is that you can pop and swap and interchange all these parts. And this is Nolan doing the masterclass pop and swap. And I just think this is such a cool, unique character, and totally like captures my imagination as much as like that John Carter figure or anything else. I just think it's absolutely fantastic.
One of the highlights of the Four Horsemen is that you can do these things to create new figures, and they encourage that type of creativity. It definitely is a hallmark of what the Four Horsemen had envisioned all those years ago. And it is interesting. It is interesting that Mattel would eventually go that line with Origins.
Yep,
Origins are complete swappables. Wow, that Rat King is crazy, man.
Yep, he took these two figures, took parts from something else, like the wings are from Necronomus, and just bashed them together.
Awesome.
And you get this awesome figure. And then I don't know if you can kind of see that Barbarian, but that Barbarian is the legendary Barbarian of the Mythic Legions line.
Yep.
And he comes with multiple hair, including blonde. If you want to basically make a Conan figure, a He-Man figure.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff, man. Wonderful time we're living in. Great job, Nolan. I love your stuff, man. And great channel. Very cool guy. Hope to be able to meet him at a Mythic Legions Con someday. And then there's his beautiful puppy. Two things. Let me share this real quick. This is another one of those beautiful things by Corey, Steam Powered Mom, who does the painting and is working with one of our kababayan from the Philippines who had this head sculpt, but I guess isn't really putting out his name out there for making these sculpts, because I asked Corey. But he bought these from that guy and he's painting them up. And man, they went up on Corey's shop and they sold out so fast. I may have gotten my hands on one of them with a custom paint job as an homage to one of my favorite Disney characters. But this stuff is one of those things where if you follow Steam Powered Mom, he will tell you when the drop is going to be on his website. He does such amazing paint jobs. You can kind of see, I love this one with the freckles and everything on this woman's face, but that dragon head, he paints them so well. So check them out. Super great prices. Like, I think way too affordable. Dude deserves so much more. Or you can buy blanks. So again, just people playing in the genre, using the technology that we have available to us to produce these amazing sculpts, mass produce them to a certain, small batch, produce them, paint them, and sell them. So do you need a dragon woman head in your collection there?
I do like the way these look, but no, these would not fit in my collection. Not unless we had a dragon hunter, who basically decided that they needed to put this dragon on top of their heads. I don't know.
Yeah, I had questions. I was like, so did she kill this? Is this like a fat beloved pet that they just, I don't know, wanted to?
Yeah. Did it die and then they just couldn't be parted with it?
I joke about that, but some of the best sort of fantasy and science fiction just works on the design alone and has so much storytelling built in, right? So it's like what is going on here? What's the story? Where did she get that? Who is she? Same with He-Man. But yeah, anyway, I just wanted to share that. Shout out to Corey, Steam Powered Mom. And the last thing I wanted to share with you to look at today would be Bear Blaze, another talented community member.
It's crazy.
This is taking that same sculpt from Action Point Studio earlier, but this is his paint job and his build. And he, Bear Blaze, totally knows the sword and sandal aesthetic, man. The figures that he puts together are fantastic. If someone were to mass produce figures like this, they would absolutely have my money. In the meantime, I'm just going to admire Bear's work because it's fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful, just absolutely crazy. The talent pool that's in the community is just staggering. I mean, I totally respect and am very envious of the talent that people have. You know, and just absolutely stunning. Congratulations, brother. That's great.
Hey, so what's this white stuff on the ground again?
It's all over me right now. It's
oh, okay. So to be clear, then you go out in an outfit like this in that stuff?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, half nothing, you know. My
Love
skin,
it.
Like, it doesn't affect me. The cold empowers me. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, it is. Man. It is. Please dress appropriately, everybody. We're no dark elves here. We can't cast spells over our skin, which is insane. But yeah, just crazy. Beautiful stuff.
Okay. Well, those are the custom stuff that I just want to take a look at. I love showing you this kind of stuff, Jay, because you know, there's, like you said, there's so much talent, and I want to make sure that your audience and my audience can kind of just know what's out there, all this awesome, amazing, talented stuff. So let me shift gears, because you are doing the Lord's work. The Lord's being, I guess, the Lord of Havoc. You're doing the MOTU work, man. You and Mike, Attorney and Royalty, have managed to summon the power and make this MOTUNIVERSE Con a reality. In May of this year, you're bringing people together to Southern California. Can you tell folks who, for whatever reason, may not have heard about it, can you tell us what MOTUNIVERSE is and what they have to look forward to?
Yeah. Actually, if you hear my screen,
okay,
we can go
for sure.
But yeah, we are super excited at the possibility of not the possibility. As some of you guys might know, a few months ago, we my good friend Mike of Attorney Royalty, he had a vision, which he told me about, and I was enamored by his idea. You know, just the fact that this year was, as I said in previous thing, this is the year that Master Universe will truly be in the public's consciousness that it has never been before. Master Universe is definitely going to go strong in 2026, and because of that, we have two movies. We have a theatrical release, and we have a fan film by Daniel Benedict. Absolutely spoiled choice. We have two different toy lines from two different companies for 2000X, which is insane. We have video games. That is crazy. The two types of media, which can definitely bring so many brand new fans to the foray, through video games and movies. Absolutely bonkers. Then we have comic books and novels. It is literally the year of Master Universe. This is absolutely nuts. And to celebrate that, Mike and myself and the MOTUNIVERSE team, came together, and we gathered as many group members as we could. We reached Brick reached out to us, and so many other people who wanted to just lend a hand and give us their time. We are humbled by all that, and through our collective efforts, we were able to raise enough money to actually secure a venue which we think is absolutely steeped in the history of Masters Universe. MOTUNIVERSE, the Masters Universe Convention, everybody, will be happening on May 23rd to the 24th, 2026 at the Torrance Marriott in Redondo Beach, California. This is going to be a great return to form, as PowerCon had been held at the Marriott for many years. And Mike's dream, once it had to leave California, was to bring back a form of Master Universe convention. And this is that effort. This is what we are hoping to do. And we are very excited at the prospect of being able to bring it back to such a historic place for Master Universe fans. So yeah, guys, we are very, very excited at this. And to that end, we have a lot of wonderful celebrations planned. We have the Master Universe celebration from Master Universe to from 1982, the toy line, to Filmation, to New Adventures. Yes, we're celebrating New Adventures, everybody.
I love it.
And we are.
It's all Masters of the Universe, baby.
Can't forget that, man. We can't. 2000X, right? Which really is many people's jumping off point, many people's most beloved version of Master Universe. And then, of course, Revolution. We're doing it all. Hey, and don't forget, we're not forgetting Princess of Power. We're going to celebrate Princess of Power as well. She didn't get much of a birthday in 2025.
Give her a proper anniversary celebration for sure.
Anniversary here in 2026. There's going to be cake. Yeah. There's going to be cake in 2026, everybody. And we're going to celebrate the Princess of Power. And yes, we're going to celebrate the Princesses of Power. We are not forgetting anybody. We're not leaving any man, woman, or anybody behind. We're not leaving anybody behind. We're going to celebrate all, everybody. We're going to celebrate the video games of Master Universe from 1983 to 2025. The good, the bad, the absolutely horrible ones, because there have been a bunch of stinkers out there, I got to tell you. So we are celebrating all of that in MOTUNIVERSE 2026. And to that end, we are inviting some incredible guests to celebrate along with us. Like just this, the attorney and royalty we have here lined up is just incredible.
Yes.
First of all, we talked about this earlier. Packaging designer Rudy Obrero is going to join us. My God, we were so fortunate and lucky that Rudy wants to spend some time at MOTUNIVERSE 2026. For those of you who don't know, much like Mark Taylor, Rudy is the OG of Master Universe. If you have any of the original packaging from Master Universe, Castle Grayskull, Battle Cat, the Battle Ram, the Wind Raider, any of these toys, they came with artwork from Rudy Obrero. He would paint these incredible vistas, these incredible ideas, and they are just iconic in the mythos of fans from Master Universe. One of the greatest things that I really love, Brick, is that Mattel is continuing the tradition of wonderful artwork in the Master Universe. I think it's absolutely imperative that continues throughout the years. We also have, celebrating the 1987 movie, we have Blade, Anthony DeLongis, the Weapons Master, and of course, Blade himself in the movie. He will be joining us, and we are very, very humbled to have him. He will be doing a weapons demonstration at MOTUNIVERSE as he is as a sword master and whip master. So it's going to be great to learn and watch the mastery of Anthony DeLongis at MOTUNIVERSE.
Nice.
And I got to tell you, Brick, this one gives me shivers. Someone who does not do many conventions any longer, mainly based on the idea that he's getting up there in age, right? Yeah. So we are so blessed and so fortunate to have the voice of Skeletor, Alan Oppenheimer, at MOTUNIVERSE 2026. And this is just an absolute treat. Being able to have him at the show, doesn't do many conventions at all anymore. And he's legendary in terms of his overall scope. He's done Skeletor. He was Man-at-Arms. He was Duncan. He was Battle Cat. He was freaking Falcor. Brick. He was freaking Falcor.
Yep.
No, go ahead. What were you going to?
Well, no, I was just going to say, for all the characters that you have around there that maybe people recognize, there's even more, because the practice for voice actors is that your contract was you do multiple voices, some side characters. Yeah. And so you may not even realize how much Alan Oppenheimer has sort of been a part of your childhood. Yeah.
I could not fit a tenth of what you see here is less than a tenth of his scope of work. Yeah. Right. He's been in Toy Story. He's been in so many different things you don't even know about. He's done. So guys, don't miss your chance to meet and get your autographs for Alan Oppenheimer. He does. I'm not even joking about it. He does not do too many conventions anymore. It's just we are blessed that he was able to attend. And of course, speaking about Attorney and Royalty, Melendi Britt, the voice of She-Ra, will be at MOTUNIVERSE 2026. She was, of course, the voice of Catra and the Flash Gordon, I think Queen. She was also there, as well as a Batgirl and so many other wonderful voices. So we are going to be, and like I said, we're having cake. I'm not joking about that.
It's so good. Yeah. Like I know you're like, just so you know, folks, there's even more, but just if you stop at where he's at, everything, like truly this is MOTUNIVERSE because it's a celebration of all of Masters of the Universe in all its forms in one place in Southern California. Just weeks, days really before this movie drops. Yep. So what a great time to all of us come together, you know, connect, have fun in community, meet some of your, you know, the people who have developed your childhood, and oh my God, I can't even wrap my head around it. But keep going, Jay. What else we got going on?
Yeah, you know, for those of you who are comic book fans, comic book legend and heavy metal legend, and you know, just a legend himself.
Yes,
William Stout, the design. He's our designer guest of honor. He's been on multiple movie productions. He's done so much great work for so many different franchises. But of course, he is connected very much to the Master Universe 1987 movie. He designed the look for He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms. He designed the legendary look. He actually, you know what? He designed a look for She-Ra. She-Ra was supposed to be in the film. He designed She-Ra.
I remember, friend. They never showed that She-Ra image when I was a kid, but there was an old comic book magazine called Comic Scene. It was like an industry sort of fan magazine. And I remember when they first announced it, and I was like, what? They're making a movie? And then shortly after, they shared some of William Stout's early artwork and his designs. And it'd be decades later before, this is like He-Man.org days, when I'd finally get to see the She-Ra version. And I was like, oh my God. I wish we had it in the movie, but if not, I wish they'd done that as part of the William Stout collection of Super Stout. Like, I want that.
That would have been really nice.
Gorgeous design. Nice. Sorry, and, keep going.
Simple Tristan Nonsense actually did an homage cosplay for it, right? Yeah. So you know,
I saw them in the chat. I didn't get to highlight their message, but what's up, Simple Tricks? Good to see you guys.
See you guys. Awesome celebrating with everybody.
They're going to be in the film as well, right? So you mentioned every time I'm jumping around, but they'll be in the fan film that'll be coming around that time too.
The Fall of Grayskull 2. It's going to be glorious, and they're working hard on that. So yeah, but don't miss out your chance of meeting William Stout and talking his ear off about all the productions he's done.
For sure.
Writer guest of honor Tim Sheridan, who's worked on Master Universal Revolution.
Love it.
Transformers Siege on Netflix. He's also a staff writer on Star Trek Lower Decks.
Yeah.
He's doing a secret project. He's doing a special project for Master Universe, and you can find out firsthand what he's working on at MOTUNIVERSE 2026.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He teased that he was going to be able to bring some information. That's cool.
Yep. And speaking of writers, Joshua Skye, the man who's literally writing the lore of Master Universe in mini comics, will also be a guest at the show. Josh is a really genuine human being. He's an amazing guy. You definitely have to meet him. And of course, he's an open book, loves to talk MOTU, loves to talk everything Master Universe, and of course, everything outside of that. A wonderful writer, and he's worked on multiple productions. He even worked on a whole bunch of movies, including Predator, I think, if memory serves, and some other fantasy films, which is great. The guy's incredible. And then we have wonderful local artists, Tony Washington, who his resume is just vast. He's worked for companies like Adobe. I think he's also worked for Konami, for Capcom, for multiple different companies throughout the years. And he's a huge Master Universe fan. He's done a wonderful print for us, and we're going to be putting it up on our website for purchase very, very soon. So definitely definitely meet Tony Washington at MOTUNIVERSE 2026, and Ken Coleman, a legendary fan artist from Ireland. He will be visiting us remotely. And honestly, he has a lenticular that we're producing for sale on MOTUNIVERSE.com. It's He-Man transforming into it's Prince Adam transforming into He-Man, and it's just absolutely glorious. So we hope to see you, guys. Definitely don't miss out on meeting any of these wonderful guests. They are incredibly talented. And earlier today, Brick, I was on a live stream.
I
And
was there. I was listening,
I know
and I
you
was
were
like, "Oh, I was so excited." Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
I'm so excited. I am really like over the moon on this one. 2000X is really this is the year 2000X for Master Universe. Okay,
For sure.
so two different toy lines from two different companies, Mattel proper, and
Yep.
of course Mondo, doing two versions of 2000X, which are absolutely glorious. And then looking at the Master Universe movie, it's pretty evident that Travis Knight definitely was either inspired or grew up with 2000X, because many of the looks in the movie really do hearken and are reminiscent of 2000X. And we are so humbled and grateful that Mike Young of Mike Young Productions, the man who literally headed up the production and development of 2000X, the cartoon series, will be our guest at MOTUNIVERSE 2026. This is truly humbling, as honestly, I have so many questions. I mean, like, if you actually think about the darkness of this series and how it was greenlit for kids, I have no idea how this made it on the TV. The very first episode, spoilers ahead, literally, what's it called? Keldor.
Yeah.
Keldor tries to murder his rival.
Nephew.
We don't
Oh,
know if
yes,
it's his
sorry.
brother in the series. He
Yep.
tries to murder his rival, Randor, who is not a king. He tries to murder him with a vial of acid, gets it splashed on his own face, and literally you see a scene in his face is literally melting off. I cannot believe that made it past the censors, and somehow Mike Young made this got this TV series, made 2 seasons out of it, and it was well on his way to making a third. I want to know exactly what happened. Where is the third season? What could we have expected for the evil horde? I want to know, and Mike Young has those answers. So we are definitely truly blessed to have Mike Young at the show, and we are very, very, very excited that he will be joining us for MOTUNIVERSE 2026. This is absolutely bonkers, everybody.
That was huge. They just dropped this. He and Mike, Attorney and Royalty, dropped this news early this morning, hottish off the presses. And there have been different folks who've been asking questions like, "Hey, is this person coming? Did you reach out to this person, etc." Based on watching how this is all developed, and they're slowly trickling things out, don't assume that who's listed are the only folks. Like I said, they just announced this today. So let's just sort of let's enjoy the build up. But can I ask a little bit about sort of what people can expect when they go? Can they expect like panels with these folks? Are they going to, what's that going to be like? Can they walk up to them in booths and meet them? Generally, give us a sense of what that's going to be like.
So different guests like to do different things. For instance, Anthony DeLongis, he does not like to be at his table, but he will be from time to time. But he really enjoys going around the floor, meeting fans in person. It's he actually truly enjoys it. He's a man of the people, and he loves that. So don't be surprised if you run into Anthony, say hi, stop him, ask him about his roles. And he was actually a Kazon commander in Star Trek, actually. Yeah. So that's what
he's been in a bunch of films and TV productions for sure.
That was one of his big things. He was a Kazon. I keep saying Ogla, but apparently that's a different sect. But he was in a relationship with Keska from Voyager. So if anybody's a Star Trek fan, you got to get an autograph from Anthony DeLongis.
Well, let me ask you that on that note. So like you mentioned earlier, he's going to do weapons demonstration. Is that something they go to sort of like a panel and see him do that? Or
it's going to be a workshop type of scenario, right?
Like in a breakout room kind of a thing.
He will let people touch the weapons, probably not use the weapons, but he will do a demonstration. And he will explain because he specializes in safety courses on film sets. That's his thing, right? So he's all about the education of weapons and what the do's and the don'ts, and what to expect, right? And we're super excited that he's coming and doing all of this. Alan, sorry,
go ahead. No, well, I was just gonna say, Allison, you just missed a perfect opportunity for an Alec Baldwin joke. But were you gonna mention Alan?
Alan, it's amazing that he will be there. We will have some autograph sessions for him. But as he is, getting up in age, we want to be sensitive to his needs. So he might just be on the floor for some time. We don't want to overexert him. So if he decides that he needs to rest, then of course there are going to be rest periods. But there will be opportunities for signings. He will actually have a full signing with many of the other guests at a designated time.
Okay.
Rudy, I do believe he will actually have a booth. He enjoys meeting the people, and he enjoys showing some of his work on display. And I do believe he has examples of his work which are actually on sale. So yeah, wouldn't it be great to take home an original piece from Rudy Obrero? Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah.
I do believe Melendi is very much the same thing as Alan. But I think she really enjoys meeting the people. William, I think as well. He likes to walk around. He likes to meet people in person. So very much the same way. Tim, I think he will also be enjoy sitting and meeting people as well. Same thing with the artist. I do believe that Tony does have a booth. And Josh again, he loves going around meeting people in the wild and just having a great time. And they will all have individual panels where you can learn more stories about what they do, their careers and how they help to shape the industry that surrounded them at the time. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The celebrations, they will also be many of them will be in panel form. Like I said, new adventures, Filmation. We actually have a full Filmation panel, and I guess it's okay to talk about this now. We actually have some guests who we will be announcing. People who have been animators, people who have been storyboard artists, people who have worked directly with the directors, much like Mike Young, in developing and creating these episodes. So you actually may be able to meet some animators and some people who made some of our most beloved series, from 2000X to Filmation to even Disney films. I'll go ahead and tease that we have Disney artists who are actually going to be at the show as well. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And we even have original creators who are going to be showcasing some of their work as well. So stay tuned for more of those announcements. We have a bunch of people who we are expecting to announce in the next couple of weeks and months. So what you see here, yes, it's great to see all of these guests announced right now, but rest assured, there's more to come. Okay, guys.
That's so great. And I think you guys, when if you look at the tagline there, it says MOTUNIVERSE, now the fans have the power. I really want to highlight that this has really started with Mikey, Turning Royalty, who just had this idea and he tried it, and then he tried to put together Kickstarter. Kickstarter kicked it back and said, there's not enough there. He reached out to you. You guys had a conversation about your background and setting up shows. And really, these two fans and brought in other fans, pooled our community resources, reached out to the community through a Kickstarter, which really is a form of community. It's crowdfunding. Like we kicked down. I'm one of those VIP folks who are like, I want to see this happen here. Let me help in what way I can. And if I have the resources to do it, allow me to. And it was so great. You got the space, and now here we are. I will say that I know there were folks who were like, they're doing a Kickstarter for this kind of thing, or how is this going to work? Much like, I'll circle back to you. I'll put some crow on your face again. The movie, you're like, I'll believe it when I see it. And I know, understandably, some folks were sort of like, I'll believe this MOTUNIVERSE when I see it. Guess what? Both MOTUNIVERSE and the MOTU motion picture, they're both real. They'll be happening within days of each other.
Right.
You really need to go. So could you please tell us, how do they get tickets? What's going on?
All right. Before I say that,
Yes.
You have a new member.
I
Brick.
do. No, actually, I have a member who's been an awesome member and supporter for the longest time.
Oh, there you go.
Who,
good old Cobb.
This is Cobweb.
Good to
He and
see
I,
Cobb,
at one
man.
point, we're working and still supposedly working on a Masterverse show, but man, times are tough. But we're working.
But you know what, guys? Cobb has some amazing videos. You got to check him out. He does really deep dives on new figures that as they arrive. And honestly, he's a really great guy. Another wonderful member for another 23 months, the Retro Toy Princess herself, Allison. Good to see you, Allison Troy. And Allison actually has been very instrumental for MOTUNIVERSE as well, lending her support. So yeah, the team is vast. The team is really, really, really quite vast. So how does this work? Well, you know what? Let me tell you.
Wow, happy anniversary. Thank you to
all the
Nolan
members
and
are coming up.
everybody
It's
else.
great. It's
I
freaking
love
awesome.
it. Almost 2 years. I owe them all a lot. But
Okay.
keep going, Jay.
So-
How do people sign up to get passes and all of that?
Yeah. So, first of all, do want to give a huge shout out to all the founding members of MOTUNIVERSE. As many of you know, we did a Kickstarter a few months ago to help raise funds. Thanks to the efforts of the 100, we call them the 100 founding members, as well as multiple different supporters of the event, we were able to raise enough money to secure the Torrance Marriott in Redondo Beach, California, and that was a huge effort because without a venue, there really is no point in having an event. So this was massive, and thanks to you guys, this was possible. Now, some people will say, "Oh, well, you raised enough money for the event. Why are you charging? Why are you charging for admission?" Well, the reality is we have guests. We have guests, and we have other expenses. Like, for example, we need a stage. We need so many other things to make this happen. And we need to be able to purchase food for all of our guests and people who need. There's so many things that go into a convention. You guys just have no idea. But your attendance will help us to really celebrate Masters of the Universe in 2026, and it's going to be freaking glorious. Tickets are available right now. The early bird registration, where you can save quite a bit of money, is open right now. I will say that kids under 10 are free. A lot of people have been asking me that question. So yes, we welcome your family. We want you guys to celebrate and be able to bring your kids. So yes, please bring your kids. Any of the kids under 10 are free. The dates are May 23rd and 24th at the Redondo Beach, the Torrance Marriott at the Redondo Beach, California. And we do also have hotel spaces which are available. You can actually book your hotel right now on MOTUNIVERSECon.com. Click on the link and it will send you over to the Marriott portal where you can book at a discounted rate. So we guys really would like to see you there. And yeah, we have a lot of events. And if you are interested in becoming an exhibitor, by the way, the early bird price for exhibitors is time is running out, as this early bird pricing for tables for exhibitors is actually ending on January 31st. So there's only 7 days left to take advantage of the early bird exhibitors program. So once the early bird exhibitor program runs out, everything will go to regular price. So guys, get your applications in early. You can do that on MOTUNIVERSECon.com. Just click on exhibitors, and we'll try to help you walk through the process. We have our exhibitor team is waiting for you to contact us. But yeah, guys, and obviously with any convention, we have a lot of exhibits planned. We actually do have a full diorama exhibit, which is going to be dioramas created by the community. Our good friend Skelevator has a massive Snake Mountain, which is going to be on display, and we fully expect to have other displays from multiple companies who are going to be attending as well. And we are very, very excited at the prospect of the new action figures and toys that are going to be on display. And yeah, guys, we hope to see you on MOTUNIVERSE 2026. And yeah, it's going to be a great. And this could not have been done without you guys. The community is really stepped up to make this event possible, and we want to thank each and every one of you guys for making this event possible. And I want to thank Brick Something for having me on the channel tonight. It's always a pleasure chopping it up with Brick and learning more about some of these brand new action figures that I don't really have. I'm into so many lines. But it always amazes me when Brick shows me something I've never seen before. I'm like, what the heck is that? So, and then I'm like, dang, now he's got me thinking about doing another one. So
window shop. We window shop. We just window shop.
It's okay to look from afar. Look, but don't touch.
Yes, okay. Yes. No, thank you for hopping on. As folks know, it was a hey Jay, can you jump in tomorrow? And yes, like a professional. But no, actually, it's perfect timing because you revealed some stuff today. We're on the heels of that massive trailer. Master of the Universe, as you've said a number of times, is really gonna is in a special time in 2026. I can't wait to do one, celebrate with all the existing fans, and really go to MOTUNIVERSE in May. I'll be there celebrating every aspect. Like he and I just touched the surface today, and kind of in his awesome recap of sort of history, that was just the tiny skim the surface of all the different things that have happened in Masters of the Universe throughout the decades. and it's all going to be represented there. And you're going to be amongst fans who like are just so excited. If you think Jay's excited to talk about this stuff, if you think I'm excited, imagine being in a room filled with a bunch of us just like geeking out. And then a couple days later, we're all going to be in theaters checking out Masters of the Universe on the big screen. And then, I'd be remiss to say, like, a couple months after that, if you're like, oh, but now I want to get together with folks after that, they have another opportunity at MOTU Fest, right? Do you remember the dates? That's this summer. That's Al Staples' show.
I'm not familiar with the dates, unfortunately, but I do know that it is in Ohio.
Yes.
I do believe it's in Ohio, and it's another, like, we're spoiled for choice now.
Yes.
Not only do we have 2 movies, 1 theatrical, 1 fan film, we actually have 2 dedicated Master Universe events, and
Amazing.
I cannot be more excited that PowerCon is going to come back in 2027, and MOTU Fest is happening later this year.
So it's going to be a while. So you'll watch the film, you get to process it over the summer online on all the great websites, on Jay's channel over here, and then in September, folks can reconvene at MOTU Fest. And
I'll be there.
In Ohio. And we are. You said it right. We are spoiled for choice. If you're an action figure fan and you've been paying attention, as I've showed you today and on all the other shows, everybody's making amazing new toys, including the classics like Masters of the Universe. And it's not even just Mattel anymore. Mondo's making great figures, right? Masters of the Universe figures. We have so many amazing options right now as MOTU fans, as action figures fans, everywhere. Man, fans are making stuff, new indie creators. If you're into that kind of stuff, please come back next Sunday. I'm here every Sunday, 3:45 p.m. Pacific, 6:45 Eastern, doing this show. I'm bringing on a different guest each week. As we get closer, I'm sure we'll have Mega J and Mike back on to kind of give us the updates, because I think everybody's really excited right now, as they should be. So, Jay, aside from MOTUNIVERSE, you've been streaming all day, but what's your sort of regular times that people can catch you and follow up with you a little bit more?
Well, you know what? For me, I really want to say thank you to Brick Something, and guys, please follow Brick Something. He's doing some incredible work, so incredible details, and of course, showcasing so many wonderful obscure toys and brand new toys you probably never heard of. And of course, everything that he's in love with, he likes to share with everybody here. So it is always a great time hanging with Brick. For myself, basically you can catch me on the Mega J Retro channel. I also have an Instagram page, Mega J Retro. All the basic social medias are more or less the same. Working hard on MOTUNIVERSE, working hard on Action Figure Comic Con, which will be happening next week for all us Canadians. It'll be at the Justice Canadian Culture Center. Guys, please consider heading over there and giving everybody and meeting us, and myself and my good friend Danny Green. We'll be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Getting ready for MOTUNIVERSE, getting super hyped up for Master Universe in 2026. This is the year, guys. As a Master Universe fan, we will never have another chance to celebrate Master Universe the way we will this year. This year is truly an epic year to be celebrating Master Universe. 2 different movies, 2 different conventions dedicated to Master Universe. Pick your poison. You know what I mean? We are spoiled.
Absolutely.
For choice.
2 amazing toy Pinoys on screen at one time. Thank you very much, Mega J. Thank you to everybody who watched the channel, watched the show today. Again, this
was always fun.
At any time, and thank you for answering the call. The fans have the power, as Mega J and Mikey have pointed out. We have the power. Please keep it positive out there. There's so many wild things happening right now. But ask yourself, WWHMD, what would He-Man do? And that's all I have to say.
Right.
Hey, thanks again, Jay. Thank you to everybody in the chat. Appreciate you folks. Seriously, have a great week. Be peaceful. Be awesome. Peace, power, all the things. We have the power, Jay.
We do have the power, guys. Good journey, everybody. And geek proud. Take care.
Love it. Night, guys. Woo! The power. Thank you, everybody. The power. I'm going to end the stream, and it's probably going to play an outro, but ignore